Good morning Destiny 2 players and welcome back to another build video, this time on the Warlock class. Don't worry Titans, you're next if I can think of something. In this video we go over the Fallen Sunstar and my personal build for this bonkers exotic. I heard Cold Heart is pretty good with it, so let's see how they do. I am Bladeburger, your local pew pew zappy zappy guy, and let's get electric. Like with all my intros, I'll yell at you to do stuff that involves clicking some buttons that help me out. No, not the power button, that only helps you get away from my voice. Let's get into the video. To start, the Fallen Sunstar exotic helmet buffs ionic traces, making them move faster and giving more ability energy when you collect them. Additionally, collecting ionic traces also gives nearby allies some ability energy. The goal of this build is to make ionic traces like crazy, with abilities and weapons, so the weapon to best pair with this is Cold Heart, the really old pre-order bonus from Vanilla Destiny 2. This weapon ramps up in damage the more damage it deals, and generates ionic traces as it deals damage in its highest damage mode. Trace rifles, especially exotic ones, are really good in the sandbox, almost acting like primaries. Double special weapons also seem to be the meta this season, so let's double down and use double specials of course, even though we never pull out the other one, honestly. This build is very ability heavy, like most of my builds I've created for builds here, so let's get into the abilities. To start, we're on Arc Warlock of course. Chaos Reach for super since we don't want to be locked into tickle fingers for ages, and a burst super is better than a roaming super in most cases. Healing Rift because duh, Ball Lightning for a ranged melee that deals respectable damage, and Pulse Grenade as it deals quite a lot of damage in a good radius and procs multiple times. For aspects, we have Electrostatic Mind. Defeating blinded enemies, jolted enemies, or enemies with abilities creates an ionic trace, and you get amplified whenever you collect an ionic trace. The second aspect is Arc Soul. Using your class ability, so Rift, makes an Arc Soul that shoots enemies. Allies can pass through your Rift to also get a buddy of his or her own. Also, while amplified, Arc Souls shoot faster and get more damage. For fragments, Spark of Shock. Your arc grenades jolt enemies. Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted enemy makes an ionic trace with a 10-second cooldown. Spark of Beacons. While amplified, arc special weapon kills make an explosion that blinds enemies it hits. Spark of Discharge. Arc weapon kills have a chance to make an ionic trace. So those are the aspects and fragments. Let's get to artifact perks. Normally, I try to not make builds that rely 100% on artifact perks since they rotate every 3 months, so these mods are mostly just icing, powering up the build, but aren't needed to make the build work. We do have authorized mods Arc, reducing the cost of Arc mods, but I most of the time use harmonic mods anyways. We also have Amped Up, increasing amplified duration to 20 seconds. There's also Amplified Shielding, gain damage resist when amplified. Shock and Awe. Arc kills while amplified makes jolting explosions, and lightning strikes twice, giving you better grenade regen after throwing an arc grenade. The perks are, again, not needed for the build, but just improve it. Now let's get to the mods themselves. Like all my videos, here's an overview of the mod list. Take a look, screenshot if you wish, just make sure to hit that subscribe button as a trade-off for screenshotting. You all done? Good, let's get to the mods. On Helmet we have Ashes to Assets, gain bonus super energy on grenade kills. Special Ammo Finder, which increases the drop chance of special ammo on a kill. We also have Arc Siphon, allowing us to make an orb on multi-kills with arc weapons. On Arms, we have Firepower, makes orbs on grenade kills, 1 orb for 1 grenade, no matter how many kills the grenade gets. Bolstering Detonation, gain class ability energy when you deal grenade damage. Like Firepower, it triggers once per grenade, and only once even if the grenade deals multiple ticks of damage. Momentum Transfer, gain melee energy when you deal grenade damage, also once per grenade. On Chest we have Double Harmonic Reserves for Cold Heart, giving us more arc ammo to carry. There's also a resist mod because, of course. On Boots, Arc Weapon Surge, gain 10% increased arc weapon damage as long as we have an armor charge, which now decays. We also have the new Elemental Charge mod, which allows class collectibles like Fire Sprites and Ionic Traces to have a chance to give us an armor charge. We make a billion Ionic Traces, so it's really easy to get an armor charge. We also have Recuperation, giving us health when we collect an Orb of Power. On class item, we have Time Dilation, increasing our armor charge timer to 15 seconds. We also have Bomber, giving us grenade energy when we activate our class ability. Also, as usual, Reaper. After activating our class ability, the next weapon kill makes an Orb of Power. No time restriction to that. So there's the mods. Now how does this build play? If you like ability spam, this is the build for you. Just don't tell Salt the Greppo that we're using abilities so much. The high damage of the pulse grenade clears ads like there's no tomorrow, and the melee mods that synergize it help us get the grenade back instantly. It's not the same level of spam that my trip mine or skip grenade builds are, but it's pretty high. Any downtime you may have as a result of missing your abilities is counteracted by Cold Heart's Ionic Trace generation, letting us spam harder and deal high damage with Cold Heart when we have an armor charge. Kickstart not needed to make this build go wild. Try it out for yourself today and let me know how it does for you. I do take feedback and suggestions for builds mostly. Thank you all for watching. Join my Discord. Stay tuned for next week for a Titan build. I do play all 3 classes sometimes. Blade Burger out.